Hey guys, so Jim here with Carlist. It's a very bright day in PJ. We're at Nasa Italia for only one reason, because they have a new Ferrari to show us. Let's go inside and check it out. Actually, it's the Portofino M, if you didn't know yet. All right? So here it is. This is the Ferrari Portofino M, okay? Not the Portofino M, which is new for 2021, which makes the Portofino 4 years old. So you can argue that Ferrari didn't really need to have the M, a modificata version of the Portofino. But the thing is, I guess they couldn't help themselves. They wanted to take a lot of the modifications they did to the Roma, the powertrain stuff, and actually put it into the the Portofino. Now this, I always loved the Portofino. It's a great looking car and much better looking and more Ferrari-like than the California, in my opinion. Ferrari has this unusual habit of actually naming things and giving them a suffix. You know, like the Testarossa 512 TR, 550 Maranello, 575M Maranello, 360 Modena, California T, 575, blah, 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 Portofino M. Okay. So this car is a slightly modified version on the exterior, but quite a bit of changes are present under the bonnet mechanically. Let's just run through what they've changed, at least on the outside. I think it looks more taut. Let's break that down. So from first glance, it looks like your normal Portofino, except they've done some things. You can't really pick it out, maybe from a glance, but okay. The front end is definitely changed, a new bumper array. These side vents over there are much more aggressive, larger, but that's pretty much it. This is just, they're more sculpted. It's just a wider, more sculpted look to the front end, but it's quite subtle. And on the sides here too, they've added these little slats. You can notice them if you actually get up to the car, but taken as a whole, this car does look more aggressive and more sporty than the older Portofino. All right, so at the rear end, again, this is all subtle changes. If you didn't know this car from the older model, you wouldn't really think it's M. But what they have modified, we'll get to in a little bit. The rear is a new bumper design, just like the front. This diffuser element is more pronounced and slightly more contoured at the sides over here to accommodate a new exhaust system. But otherwise, it's the same Portofino, which I think is still one of the best looking Ferraris, the best looking convertible Ferraris to come out. So have a look at these wheels. These are 20-inch wheels. Now they're like dual contour, diamond cut with like a gray, gunmetal gray and silver finish. I think this encapsulates how this car has changed. The previous car, the Portofino, had just a silver wheel finish. It's more understated, you know, more grown up, less Ferrari, if that makes sense. But this car, it's more sporty. You can tell everything else has been changed subtly, just like the wheels. And I think they look great. So what do you think about the Portofino M? I think it's a successful upgrade. This is not an old car by any means. The original Portofino came out in 2017, so at most this car would be 4 years old. But really, they've done subtle things to give this a fresher, more sporty, more aggressive, more Ferrari, more Forza kind of appeal to it. I think it works. They've not gone overboard. This is not a car that is shouting at you, but this car is a very pretty Ferrari that is meant to be a GT. And it's more GT this time when we go inside and show you. First, when we talk about the engine, that's where really the modificata part comes in. Let's just talk about that for a little bit. This is beautiful, isn't it? So every Ferrari engine is a work of art. You have the ceramic head covers over there. Really, really nice. So this is basically the same F154 3.9 liter twin turbo V8 that you'll find in every other current Ferrari besides the V12 models. But the modificata part is basically they've taken the changes and upgrades they've made to the Roma and slotted it into the Portofino. So with all the modificata parts applied, it makes 20 more PS, so 620 PS, and peak torque is 760, which is the same as the older model, but it is faster because of the peak power. And overall, it is slightly faster when you accelerate to 100 kilometers per hour. It is 3.45 seconds, where the Portofino was 3.5 seconds. So you save a little bit of time. You save 0.05 seconds, if that matters to you. But if you go on a drag race from 0 to 200, not that you should, it's quite a bit faster. This thing is 1 whole second faster than the outgoing Portofino non-M. Yeah, that's where the Modificata part comes in. Before I get in, this is a 2+2 GT, all right? Grand Tourer. So 2+2 means it's got 2 real seats at the front and 2 joke seats at the back. I mean, seriously, I don't know who can fit into this. Maybe you have to be as limber as some Italians, or, you know, like a gymnast or whatever to fit in the back seats. But this is how I would sit. And I'm not a big guy, but there's only like barely a fist and a half of leg space behind the seats. There's no way you can fit in here. But there is ISOFIX points, so you could fit like a child seat. But if you fit a child seat, your kid can't really see anything because there's huge, you know, buckets in front of you. Okay, this, getting a Ferrari is a special thing. This is the key, like a Ferrari should be, solid. Okay, it's not changed from the older Portofino. Okay, this is where the Modificata part isn't so strong. Yeah, I struggle to see any real changes here between this M car, I shouldn't say that, this M model, this Portofino M, with the older Portofino. You have this beautiful steering wheel, carbon fiber, the leather is so supple, and just the grain is just unbelievable. Leather isn't meant to be always so soft. You can have leather that is firm, but you can feel the quality in the grain here. The stitching is also impeccable. The finishings on the metal inlays, everything is so machined and so precise and so curvaceous and sexy. There is one change though, okay? If you notice that the older Portofino didn't have a race mode. This is what's called a Manettino on the steering wheel, like you have on an F1 car. So you can shift from wet to comfort to sport, but that was how far it went with the Portofino. With the M, you get a race mode, so you can go racing in your GT. But otherwise, yeah, this is a great interior, a Ferrari interior, but unfortunately nothing really has changed inside. But I do want to do something. This is supposed to take 14 seconds, up and down. We can time it, right? We can time it? Let's time it. Yeah, okay, fine, 14 seconds, I believe you. And so one more thing I didn't mention about this car, it's kind of a big deal, is that it has a new gearbox. That's kind of a big deal, right? So the older Portofino had the older version of the F1 double clutch, the DCT, the 7-speed. So now with the Roma, also again the Roma, it came out with a 8-speed DCT, and that's the gearbox that's now in the Roma. I have no idea if it's better or worse. I would love to try that out, but I can't right now because I'm in a building. Ah, Ferrari. Wow. I love this color too. It's Grigio alloy, which is sort of a mix between silver and blue. It's very nice, sort of a baby blue silver. Anyway, so this car is quite, if you add them all together, this car is quite a big upgrade over the Portofino. The M really has quite a bit of depth to those actual meaning. Modified, it is modified. Okay, so this car costs 998,000 ringgit, okay? But that's before you add all the customizations, all the taxes and duties. So when it comes down to it and you're paying the final amount, it's gonna be a lot more than $998,000. But worth noting, it's more expensive than the Roma and more expensive than the Portofino non-M when it launched a few years ago. So yeah.